to make a nice bevel. This is a pretty wide bevel. This is a 2-inch cake, and again, I froze it. Make sure I'm centered. It's just hard to do it when you're lifting it up. Okay, so I'm just finishing up with the edges right here, just making sure I got that nice bevel going around. Top of my bevel is 2.5 inches. So I've got my 16-inch and my 12-inch is going to sit on top of here, okay, with that 2.5-inch bevel. Now again, if you want, you can just put a 12-inch cake on a board and just pipe around it at an angle and build up the icing to make it beveled like this, but I find the cake easier. Okay, so we're going to put our 12-inch cake on top of here, and then I'm just going to cover the whole thing with fondant. I've got my cake covered up. This is the 12-inch on top of that 16. And what I have here is I have a, this is, what do they call it? It's it measures, a cake divider. And since I know this is a 16-inch base, I can lay my cake onto the 16-inch line, the one that fits, and I can see these marks down here, and these are for the size of the cake. Okay, this is the divides the cake into quarters, into eighths, into twelfths, and 16ths. Well, I need to divide my 16-inch cake into 12 equal parts. So I want to look at this 12 here, and I want to start marking it on the 12s. Okay, as you can see, I've already started marking this. I've already started marking this cake, but I want to show you how I got these marks. There's a 12 here. Let's get it lined up right. And then there's a 12 here, so I've got a mark here. There's a 12 here. And what I've done is I've made a scallop pattern to go around this cake. And all that is you go from one 12 to the other, and you kind of figure out a scallop. You want to come up about, from the board up to here, about 3/4 of an inch. Okay? And then, so you're not quite up to where now the fondant hits the bevel, so it adds up a little extra space. This isn't quite 2.5 inches anymore, but you want to be right up to the edge of where the cake meets the bevel. So here we've got the 12-inch up about 3/4 of an inch here. That gives us about 1 3/4 inch here, approximately. And I just kind of marked how I wanted it to arc, and that's how I ended up. And I just made myself a pattern piece. I just kind of said, oh, I kind of want to arc like that, put a piece of paper on that and drew the arc. Okay, and then what I want to do here is I want to make a lattice. I want to make a lattice design down here. And so in order for me to keep the lines even, I want to make little marks to help me do that. So I fold my pattern in half. Oops, drop the pencil, and then in half again, and it's going to make little marks. See how I have evenly spaced lines now? If I place that on there, and now you wouldn't write on your cake with a pencil, but since I'm not going to eat this cake, I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a pencil. You can use a toothpick to mark in your fondant. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark right where these folds are. And what that's going to do is, you'll see when I start piping, it's going to help me keep my lattice lines even. So I'll just mark them. Okay.